Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Cut the Card Lunch and Learn series. How are you doing today, Miss Johanna Rincon?
I'm doing great. How about you, Cedrick? How are you
You
doing?
know, always doing great. I'm excited to be here for another episode of Cut the Card. I'm excited that you're here with us today for another episode of Cut the Card. I'm excited that our audience is here to, for us to take them to another level. So let's just get running, Joe. You may ask, what is Cut the Cord? Well, every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time, a new Cut the Cord Lunch and Learn series is going to launch. And it's a 30-minute training that's going to air on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and it's going to help elevate your mindset. It's going to help take you to a new level. It's going to help you set new goals. It's going to help get you outside of your comfort zone. And Johanna, you know, I don't like to live within my comfort zone, right? It's going to help you start saying things like, I'm already good enough. I earned it. I'm smart enough to do it. I am because I am. I am because he said I am. You know, it's going to give you what we call the it factor here at Cut the Card. Visualize it, pray about it, plan it, work it, live it, and don't give up on it. Today, Johanna Elizabeth Mercedes Rincon is going to give you three signs. We're going to help you understand three signs you need to change your life. Now, this is going to be a great topic, Johanna. Excuse me, a guy by the name of Tom Bilo put together a series of events, and he helped share these three things, and we added some things to it. But here's some. Let's just get started. I'm not going to give you anything else. Let's just get started with this because this is good enough, right? So I remember, Johanna, when my daughter was at the end of her freshman year at University of Nebraska, and she wanted to transfer, but I wouldn't let her. She was playing on the women's basketball team, but I wouldn't let her transfer. So she went back for her sophomore season, and she played well, had a pretty good season, but she still wasn't happy in the system. So she decided after her sophomore year to transfer, and she transferred to Texas Christian University, which is TCU. And the next season, due to NCAA guidelines, she'd have to sit out. Well, during that sit-out season, she worked hard on all aspects of her game: shooting, ball handling, defense. Now, fast forward to her junior season, TCU opened the season against the number 3 ranked Maryland Terrapins women's team, and they had 3 All-Americans on that team, and they were heavily favored to win that game. Now, my daughter came out blazing. I mean, she was better, she was faster, she was strong, she was quicker in every aspect of her game. She ended up with 28 points, and at one point, they had all 3 of those All-Americans guarding her because she was just like lights out all night long, right? Now, she changed her game, but more importantly, she had a coach that believed in her, and it motivated her to improve and change. See, so today we're going to be talking to you about 3 signs that you need to change your life. Now, the question is not, do you change when you're desperate? The question is, do you change when you're good? See, if you don't change when you're good, that means you're not being creative. See, you have to make plans, but look for options. Make plans, but look for options, Johanna. And that's really the essence of our message today. See, it's a good thing to have plans, but make sure you're always are looking for options. So let's just get started, Johanna, and tell them the first 2 of these 3 things.
Absolutely. And I love that. That is just so good. And it sounds so good. Make plans, but look for options. That is just good. Well, the first thing is sometimes you will rather be anywhere else but here. And you have that feeling, right? And so whether you're in a relationship that is draining your life or you hate your job, there's that feeling that you know that there's something better out there. This really reminds me, Cedrick, when we used to live in New York. And we were actually doing good in New York. My husband and I, we were very stable. You know, we have good jobs. We own a property. We were just okay. We were doing good. But then there was that feeling that, you know, the quality of life, the time, you didn't really have enough time to spend. Sometimes we think it's all about money, right? Spend like having a good job and having the cars, the house, and no, it's not about that, right? There's more out there. And that's what I'm talking about here. Like there's that feeling that you know that something better is out there.
Out there. Yeah.
And that was Georgia, right? And so
Mhm.
it took me 2 years to convince my husband that we should move to Georgia, right? Because it was going to be a different lifestyle. And maybe we were not going to be make the same amount of money that we were making in New York, but it was something different out there. And that's what we're talking about. Those are the signs. That's the intuition that you have that you really have to pay attention to because, you know, God talks to you through your intuition. And a lot of people ignore that.
Yeah, and
And
then, so let me stop you right quick because see what you just said. God knows your intuition, right? Here's what happened. I mean, while you said that, I opened my phone to read my Bible verse for today. Get this. Here's what it says. It's amazing. And he said, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Now that's in Matthew 18:3. I mean, literally, we're talking about this, and you're saying that. I open up my phone and boom, there's the message.
that is so funny. I love it. Yes. Awesome. The other point to that, Cedric, is, you know, you have a dream and you know it is not this, right? Like what you're doing now. And so the thing is, if you have a dream, do yourself a favor, pursue that dream, pursue it and try to really go hard at that dream because it's your dream, it's your vision, and you are the only person responsible to make that dream come true.
Mm-hmm.
You see, most people are desperate to figure out what they really want. They are desperate to figure that out. They know for sure what they don't want,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Right.
and then here's the thing with that, Cedric, and you and I know that we focus so much on the things that we don't want that at the end of the day, that's the energy that we bring. And those are the things that we manifest in our lives because we focus so much on the things that we don't want
Right.
instead of focusing on the things that we do want.
Right.
But in order for you to know what you want, you need clarity and you need to surround yourself with people that will help you get that clarity as well.
Right.
You know, and when the time comes to act, because sometimes we do have people in our lives that they do gives us the advices that we need and they really model those things that we actually need in our lives. But then when it comes to time to act, we don't do anything. We don't take action.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's because we're confused. We don't know what is it that we want to do. And so have a clear vision of what your life could be and use your imagination and get busy about finding out what is that dream and where you want to be. And most importantly, take action.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. People have no specific dreams. So then they don't do anything. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. You know, Johanna, this reminds me, the next point reminds me of this group of frogs that was traveling through the woods and two of them fell into a deep pit. Right. Now, when the other frogs trotted around the pit and saw how deep it was, they told the two frogs, get this, there's no hope for you. So just stay there, right? Now, however, the two frogs decided to ignore what the other frogs were saying, and they proceeded to try to jump out of the pit. Now, despite their efforts, the group of frogs at the top of the pit were still saying that they should just give up, that they would never make it out. You see what happens, what your friends try to do to you? Right? They try to discourage you. They try to kill your dream. They try to tell you there's no hope for you. That there's no way you're going to be able to accomplish that. There's no way you are going to be able to jump out of this hole. That's what your friends do, right? And guess what? That's your friends and your family.
Yep.
Think about that, right? Now, eventually, one of the frogs took heed to what the others were saying, and he gave up, falling down to his death. The other frog continued to jump as hard as he could. Again, the crowd of frogs yelled at him, "Stop the pain and just die." You know, you have those friends out there that just tell you, "Stop doing that. You're not going to be successful at that. You're not good enough. You weren't born in that type of family. You're not going to ever make that type of money. You see, you're not ready." You know those people that tell you that, right? So he jumped even harder and finally made it out. Now, when he got out, the other frog said, "Did you not hear us?" The frog explained to them that he was deaf, and he thought they were encouraging him the entire time. You see, sometimes you need that. You got to ignore what other people are saying. See, people's words can have a big effect on others' lives. Think about what you say before it comes out of your mouth. See, it might just be the difference between life and death. Now, the next point, Johanna, is you have more frenemies than friends. Let me say that again because it's important that people get this. You have more frenemies than friends. Now, psychologist Bert Usino found that the more frenemies, what he calls as ambivalent relationships, you have, whether they are coworkers, significant others, or anything in between, the more likely you are to experience depression, stress, and the overall sense of dissatisfaction with your life. So the question is, Johanna, can you eliminate frenemies? Who can you look at and say, delete on? No, I'm not going to stay friends with you because you are not a friend. You're a frenemy because you continue to try to discourage me and tell me I'm not good enough, that I'm not ready yet. I can't do this. No one's going to listen to me. I'm going to fail at this. See, you got to eliminate those frenemies from your life, Johanna.
Yeah, those are the energy drainers, Cedric. Those people that really drain your energy and the passion that you have and the great ideas. Absolutely. And okay, so assuming that you have embraced that positive brain chemistry and the point of this thing called life, now here's what you should be doing next. Okay, the next thing you should do is you should save 6 months of your salary. Now, this right here, it's something powerful because we know most of the people they work so hard, and the check comes in, the check comes in on Friday, and by the next 2 weeks, the check is gone, and they don't have a savings account, and they just live the day-to-day action and the things that they have to pay every month, and they're not considering the savings, and they're not looking ahead. They're not looking at the future. So this right here, it's really important. And it's one of the things, going back to the example that I gave earlier when we moved from New York to here, it's one of the things that you want to have in place, right? Before you make any move, any change in your life. You want to have that safety net. You want to have that emergency fund. So if something happens, you have a peace of mind, and you know that you at least have your cover for the next 6 months. Cedric, and I have to thank you, and I will do this in public, and I've said it so many times, but Cedric introduced me and my husband back in 2020, January of 2020, to Dave Ramsey. And we've been following, the all the different things that Dave Ramsey shows about how you become a debt-free, how you save your emergency fund, and all those things. And I have to tell you, that makes a huge difference. That was the thing that really gave us the peace of mind that we had when I actually got laid off last year from my job due to the pandemic. We were almost debt free, and we had an emergency fund. And thanks to that, I was able to pivot. I was able to to start my business and do all these great things, because I didn't have to worry that we will not have the money for the rent and the basic things. And so this, people really take that for granted, and people always say that, oh, why would I live my life so frugal? Why would I just focus so much on saving if I don't know if I'm going to make it to 50 or 60? Yes, you are going to make it. What about if you make it and then you're broke?
Right.
Think like that. Think like that. And I tell you, I am like fired up. My husband is fired up. We just cannot wait to be completely debt free and do some awesome things with our income, and really, and that also gives you creativity, right?
Right.
Because then all of a sudden you start saying, okay, but I can do this. I can also do, you start to diversify how you're going to have multiple sources of income. So this right here, it's really, really powerful. So start saving.
Absolutely. It's amazing, Johanna, what happens when you make that switch in your life. So this is why we want to share these things with you. So, the beginning, we're sharing the 3 signs that you need to change. Now we're going to help you, tell you what things to do. And Johanna just gave you the first one, right? Save 6 months of your salary. I know it sounds hard, right? But let me tell you what, when you're consistent and intentional, you can do anything that you want to do.
Yep.
Right. Yes, it's a big task, right? It's a big ask. But think about, go back to the beginning of COVID. Think about when you didn't have, when you couldn't go to work. And if you're an hourly employee, you weren't getting paid. Think about if you had a 6 months emergency fund. What would that would have gave you the peace of mind to say, I'm okay for 6 months. We're good. I'm not stressing out, right? And Johanna, you said sometimes people get paid on Friday, and by the next week or so, the money is gone. No, sometimes by Saturday morning, that money's already gone. Okay,
Right.
I remember those days. All right,
Yeah.
so so save your 6 months salary. Trust me, you will not regret any part of this if you do that. Now, the next thing is you have to set hyper specific goals. Now, notice I didn't say, Johanna, just set goals. Hyper specific goals. Okay. This is where most people fall down. They don't know what they want. They have to get really specific about, you have to get really specific about what you want. You got to know what it is that you want. You can't just say, I want more money. You see, because I can give you $1 and technically you have more money than you had, right? You have to be very specific in what it is you want. You can't just say, I want a better job. You have to say specifically what job it is you want. You can't say, I want a bigger house. You have to give it, the size. I want a 4,000 square foot house with 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2-car garage, 3-car garage, whatever that is. You can't just say, I want a college degree. I want a Bachelor of Science in Clinical Laboratory Medicine. I want a Bachelor of Arts in Business Development. You have to be very specific in your goals, hyper specific in your goals. See, if you don't know what you want, you need to start identifying who's living your ideal life. Look around. I'm sure you can find somebody that's living the life that you want to live. Find out what degree they have, what job they're doing, how do they do it, right? That's how you get very hyper specific on your goals. Let's go ahead to number 3, Johanna.
All right, number 3, I absolutely love, and that is to take action. You see, this one right here, it's one of the most important one, right? Because if you don't take action, nothing happens. As simple as that.
Right.
At some point, the rubber just has to meet the road. You see, you can't think about things all day, what you want to do and plan it out and all of this. No, that's not going to change anything. You need to demand yourself that you are going to take action. Don't focus on your behavior. Focus on your identity. Remind yourself that you're the kind of person who refuses to live a life of quiet desperation.
Right.
That's what a lot of us does. we're just suffering quietly and we don't take action
Right.
because we're waiting for that perfect moment. We're waiting for everything to line up perfectly. And that's not how you're going to make things happen. You have to make the first step. After you make the first step, then you figure out how to make the second step. And then God is going to put the right people in front of you and the right partners, and everything is just going to start to flow, and you're going to start to gaining that momentum. But you first have to you need to do that first step. You need to take action for it to happen. I think this is the one thing, Cedrick, that everybody struggles the most, because we get into that analysis paralysis kind of thing. And that really, we always talk to ourselves negatively. We think that we cannot measure up to how other people are doing it. And we just put all these excuses in our heads. And that's one of the things that really prevents us from taking action. So if you got anything out of this lesson today, I want you to really remember this one. Take action. Take action. When you finish now watching this, go ahead and take action. Go ahead and start reflecting. What is your dream? What do you want to do? Start getting some clarity. That's a way of taking action. See, taking that first step. I absolutely love this. This was super awesome today. I think this is a great lesson, and we all at some point want to change our lives. And I think this three, and let me just quickly repeat them again. This three things that we just gave you, they are great. So the first thing, you got to save 6 months of your salary. Then you have to set a hyper specific goal. And then the third one is to take action. All right. Cedrick, why don't you go ahead and close us off?
Yes, I will. Thank you. I love this lesson today as well. And hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, then just drop us a note, give us a like, give us a love, give us something. Say, tell us something that you took away. So something that you're going to do to change your life starting today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. Start right now, today. So just give us a little like or love or something. Tell us so we'll know that we're on the right track for you. Right. So thank you for tuning in to Cut the Cord Lunch and Learn series today. We really appreciate you. We hope that we gave you something to take away. Our goal is to help you and your team go to a higher level. We want to hear from you. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us how we can better serve you and your team. What is your team struggling with? Tell us, and we can address it on one of these Cut the Cord Lunch and Learn series. Just shoot us a note, shoot us an email. Our emails will be in the comments, and you can shoot us a message, and definitely we want to hear from you. It's extremely important that you understand that every day you have to be willing to take the right steps, the necessary steps to take action in your life. So send us an email, drop us a quick note, just put in the title, Cut the Cord, and we'll know it's from you, and we'll try to take some action on it and put together a lesson specifically around this for you and your team. And if you want us to come on site, just let us know that as well. Johanna, hey, thank you again for another great session of Cut the Cord. It's always great being here with you and teaching and learning and growing and going to a whole nother level every time we're on the air. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, Cedrick. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. And we'll see you next time for another version of Cut the Cord. Bye-bye.